There we go. What is going on? It is what is it? November 7th. 10:03 p.m. I wanted to say that right now because I just wanted to uh I have some special guests coming along here and I wanted to have her come on, and I'm using OBS right now, and so I'm just gonna like not delay this right now, and I'm just gonna bring her on right now. And my guest here is Ash.
Hello.
Hello.
How's
How
it
are
going?
good? And so I'm using these, I'm using OBS right now, and I think I got this overlay from maybe Doc Rock or something like this. Someone
Oh
who
yeah.
someone who's giving out free
Put
you know
myself more in the middle here. There we
free
go.
overlays and stuff. Yeah. And so we're going to talk about this experience of bringing in these guests here. So what we're going to just I'm just going to just say hi to some people here. We know this guy, Mr. Robert.
Yes, Mr. Robert himself. Never call me again. Is it live or podcast out there? Must have changed the name.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he, next week he'll change it again. And then we have Sammy Superstar
Sammy
here.
Superstar.
I think I for a couple seconds there I was yeah, I wasn't I did the rookie mistake, of course, and so of course he hears me now because now he's confirming everything I was saying. Now, what I'm bringing in Ash here is through something called VDO Ninja, and it used to be called OBS Ninja. And this is kind of a free software that allows people to bring in guests. And OBS doesn't have their built-in guests. So one of the nice things about StreamYard, which you've used a lot,
Yes,
is uh, it's dead easy to bring in guests. And
that's right.
I think that's a strength of it, right? So
Yeah.
one of the strengths of them. And then, so what I'm just going to give everyone kind of a breakdown of what we're going through tonight is I'm going to be asking Ash all her experiences that coming on here, and I'm going to make her uncomfortable because when I bring in, because I can, like we can do, I can bring in just me right here and I can still hear
hmm
her, she can still hear me, and then we can go side by side. But if I just bring her, what
Wow.
she sees right now, and I'm going to ask, I know what she sees right now, but
hmm
save it, Ash, and I'll make you less uncomfortable right now.
Thank you.
Yeah. And there's a reason why I'm going to ask her those questions and there's a reason why we don't, why I do that as well is because if I could let her just see me, but she won't be able to see these overlays, in other words. So I hope that makes sense. But so it depends on your guests. Sometimes you want your guests to see the overlays. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just want them to see you, which is more interactive. But if we're both kind of interacting with like, you know, interacting with like the chat, both of us, of course she can look at her own screen with the chat as well. Or
hmm
but it's going to be delayed, right? It's going to be like 7 seconds or whatever, even on lowest latency, it's going to be a little bit delayed, right? So this way she can see everything I'm popping up right away. So how
Yeah.
is the guest? So far so good. A plus, I think. This is my first guest on this channel. Do you feel
I did
honored?
not know that. I did
Yeah.
not know that. I feel super honored.
And
I
so
was
this is kind of a way for me to open up. I'm going to try to
Aw.
start having guests over, but why not like my favorite guest of all time here?
Aw.
Of course
Thank you, Pat. That means a lot to me.
you are the only guest so far, but like still my favorite so far. So yeah.
Aw, that means so much because no, I did not know that. I was super honored to get the message that you wanted me to pop on.
Yeah.
But I did not know that. I mean, yeah, that's I guess when I think back at it, it's true because I've seen your live streams and that's true. You haven't had anybody on there.
Yeah, and
You just didn't think about it.
I just started doing live streams mainly because of John and Jeff. Those,
Right.
those rascals there, but anyway. And let's just go so I do stream outputs on Ecamm. Yep. So I'm going to get to my thing with Ecamm here, and I have nothing against Ecamm actually. but I'm trying to figure out a way where I can just lower my costs in general.
Yep.
And Ecamm is a paid service,
Yep.
but
So StreamYard, depending on the quality.
exactly. So, but let me give everyone kind of what I'm going to do with this stream is I'm going to make a formal video this week, but I'm going to use some of these clips if with Ash's permission. I haven't asked her yet, but
Permission granted.
good. And I'm going to ask her experience with coming on, all these things. And then I'm going to just put that in the clip as far as this formal video, because I mainly do recorded video as
Mhm.
far as that's concerned. And just, I know Ash will be excited for me. I'm approaching 600 subscribers.
597. Woot
That's
woot.
it's insane. Remember I tell people my goal was to get 300 subscribers by the end of the calendar year. So
You've done amazing, Patrick. And I'm sorry, I have a ladybug flying around, so
oh, no problem.
that was
So
that distraction.
we're just gonna
They
roll with it. And if you kill it on screen, it's better
it's
for
just it
content.
smacks things, so I hear it. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree, Sammy. I have nothing against, and in my chat's going off the screen, I think there a little bit. Yeah, but it says, because they do update it every week. So, no, I agree, and I love Ecamm, and I think they have the best like screen sharing. So, actually, for work, I do a lot of screen tutorials, and Ecamm makes it super easy. But okay, so let's start with this. I sent you a link, and I purposely didn't test it out
Mhm.
before the stream because I just wanted to see how your experience was. So I sent you a link, and of course I forgot to send you the password, and you messaged me right away. I literally sent it to you
Yep.
maybe 10 minutes before the show, and then
Yep.
I told you click on when you see the countdown. So what
That's
was
what
your
I did.
experience coming out?
So I enjoy the fact that it is actually private protected with a password. That's a nice general experience because when I'm using, let's say, StreamYard, that's not a feature that's included. So people just pop up backstage. But to give somebody the privacy of knowing that you have a password protection, I like that feature. It's just a nicer component. Not just anybody can come onto the live stream with you, only people that you grant permission. So that was a plus.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I got on it, after the password was entered, it gave me the option of adjusting my settings. So what I noticed, and I was playing around with them a few times, is there's different ones for like the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the exact terminology for it, but it was like the top notch feature. But that one versus the defaulted one was a lot more nicer quality. So
Mm-hmm.
I found that to be a bit funny. But as you know, I popped on and my screen was reversed.
Yeah.
So everybody that's currently seeing me right now on the replay or the live stream with you sees me the way I show on my live streams.
Mm-hmm.
But the backstage area has my screen flipped the opposite way around. So it's a little bit trippy to see that dynamic. It's HD quality from what I can figure out, so it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was a little bit funny, like, so the audio too, by the way, could choose my audio, so that was fine. It defaulted to my default. But then it's true what you said. So what's really cool is I can see your countdown timer going. As you had the countdown timer, it shows that you were on air because you're casting on YouTube, but it was just you on air. But then when you brought me into the mix, what was cool about it is, so right now on my screen, I have me flipped the way that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not used to. And on the side, I have yourself with your overlays, myself in the overlay, but I'm flipped back to the way that I'm used to. So just like anybody would see on YouTube. So that part is really cool.
So basically, she sees herself twice, but
Yes.
mirrored. And what I'm saying is, everyone that's seeing this cast right now is what she's seeing. So VDO Ninja shows you. So let me just, well, okay. Those who are in the chat or those who are watching this live, please don't. I'm gonna kick you out if you join, but. But I'm going to show you my control center here. And this is what I see. And okay, So
Cool.
the reason why she sees my screen here on the left side here is because that's what I'm sending to her. I'm sending her that video, but and I'm sending her OBS Virtual Cam back to her. So if I switch my settings here to my capture card, then she just sees me. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the main screen here. You don't see this. You don't see, all you see is me. Of course, you can have a YouTube video a window on the side and
That's
actually see
right.
that. But she only sees me now. And this could be a good thing for conversation, because she'll be less distracted this way, I think, right?
That's what I was
uh
gonna say. Yeah.
yeah. So like if I bring up, let's say, let me bring up so Robert's asking, is this 1080 60? I'm setting it up at 1080 60, I believe, but that's an OBS setting. This hasn't to do with video. But I guess my point is here right now is she doesn't see the chat coming up in VDO Ninja right now.
That's correct.
And so part of the reason why I'm gonna switch it back, and let me switch back to my screen here, and I'm gonna switch it back to let's see, what am I gonna do here? I'm gonna switch it back to OBS Virtual Camera, and now she sees what the broadcast sees right now. So now she's back to double herself. Okay,
Yes.
now what I remember I made her really uncomfortable is because I made her full screen. And when we go like this, now what does she see in Video Ninja? She sees both of her right now.
Yeah. Mirrored.
So
I literally see myself on one side, myself on the other, and
ex-
it's really trippy.
and the only and I think this is the same way might be in StreamYard, right? I think if you bring up someone really big, at least you can see the guest on the side, but actually you see yourself really big, but you don't see yourself twice. I
That's right.
guess
You
is what
don't
I'm
see
saying.
yourself twice, not like this.
Okay, yeah. So that's the big difference. But and I'll take you off pretty soon. Don't worry. Uh,
That's okay.
but I can bring up the chat right in front of her as well. So that's kind of
Yes,
like
I
the
can see it
advantage.
now.
So that's kind of in here. We're back to normal, kind of. So no, I know you're great with this. But those are the pros and cons with it as well. So
Mm,
that's kind of what I wanted to show. And when I do the video this week, I'm going to do a fake kind of, I'll show you the behind the scenes of setting it up uh, of all these things. But I just wanted to show you how things are. Now, the other thing I needed to do, I'll point out here is, let me go back to this thing here. I needed, can you see the bottom there? Let me bring it up a little bit more. Okay, you can't see this floating window here, but there are, you could potentially get double audio. So you have to make sure the audio is being sent out from this entire window here, from this control center. And I'm also getting audio from OBS here as well. So you have to make sure you're sending, getting the audio that you need to. Now, the other thing is when we were in the countdown, she couldn't hear the music in VDO Ninja. And so I wasn't sending that audio back to her so I could create a virtual, and I've done a video on loopback on the Mac, and there's other things on the PC as well, but you have to do some virtual routing so that she can hear any kind of, sound effects that I do in OBS or any kind of music I do in OBS. I could be really mean to her and just do some kind of sound effects on her, and she wouldn't even know it because I'm not sending
wah,
that
wah.
audio back to her. But anyway, yeah. So this is kind of one easy way to do it. So let me go to the chat really quick. And um, is Video Ninja free? Yes, it is. It's VDO Ninja. And after this live stream, I have a bunch of things to talk about tonight, and I'm gonna list them all tonight. So yeah, I have a friend who uses OBS using Ecamm now, and I know Robert was having some issues with Ecamm earlier, just to try to get things set up. And right when he gets things set up, I throw another wrench in his considerations, and we'll see if he wants to do more of this. But yeah.
I'll say this much. This seems, except maybe how you have to set it up in the back end,
Mhm.
this layout I prefer more than, let's say, as a join as guest, because I can't judge Ecamm because I don't have a Mac.
Yeah.
But join as a guest concept, which do I find more user friendly for the guest? This setup, with the one exception is I can't see the live chat unless you do pull it up. In
Mhm.
Ecamm, there's the comment box and you can just pull it up, or you have to have the YouTube live stream open to see the
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah. And another thing I could do is I could join, I think John did this in his one of his videos, is he used his phone
Mhm.
to join as another guest actually. And I could use that as another camera angle. So that's kind of cool. But
That's
I
right.
could also use it as just pointing at me, like right now. I could just point it at me, and then you would actually have a face to look at, and not just the broadcast, what you're seeing right now. So, you wouldn't be too tripped out when I do this to you. So it's like,
It's not that bad.
it's not that bad, but it's something to get I think some people would get kind of spooked by it too, but or uncomfortable. What it is, we're already past Halloween, so I mean, so I'm just saying. But I think those people who are uncomfortable may not need to see the chat anyway. I think
Right.
so. I think we're pretty seasoned streamers right now, and I haven't been doing this very long either. So we're not seasoned streamers like John at Coffee Talking Tech with 1K viewers, but like subscribers. But yeah, and I always reference John and Jeff all the time because they really are the ones who got me started. But people like Ash is the one have kept me going as well. So
Oh,
yeah.
so sweet.
Let's see. What is my CPU usage right now? It is around 22%, which is a little bit high for some people. And I haven't really optimized OBS. So, but I will talk about later on in this week in more detail of how I bring in Ash into my scenes here. And if you've ever used OBS for the first time, it can be very intimidating. And the cons with using this kind of solution is you do have to set up everything. So Streamyard is dead easy. They have everything. I can flip people. I could flip to myself here, flip to Ash, do side by side. They have all the different layouts already built in. With OBS, I can I can I can do all these kind of layouts myself, or I can hire a graphic designer to do custom ones. And OBS is free, so that's the other thing, and it's high quality, so I could actually stream in 4K if I wanted to as well. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't even know that.
yeah. So before I let you go, because I'm going to explain a lot of different other things tonight, uh, can you maybe you can explain a little bit about your channel, and then
You had to double that up,
I
didn't you?
did, I did.
Yeah. So my channel name is Consistent Ash. I'm just consistent on trying to help anybody regarding small tech things. My main focus is to basically help brand new content creators just get started, regardless if it's, what camera settings you might need to work on, audio, tutorials about Canva, StreamYard, etc., etc. It's kind of a miscellaneous channel. I started it for fun as a hobby and I just enjoy it. So that's mainly what my channel is about. And I do live streams, and I love to be able to connect and engage with people, just like people like Patrick.
Awesome. We'll get you off that side by side
You
there,
had to
and
do that,
I
right?
know I do, and I'll do it one more time. So anyway, so Ash, I'm gonna let you go,
Appreciate
and
you having me on here.
thank you for being my first guest as well. So
It was an honor. Honestly, it
yeah.
was an honor. Timestamp 10:23.
PM Eastern Standard Time. So
That's our
yeah.
thing. For anybody that doesn't know, that's our thing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Patrick. It was great seeing you, and I'm gonna go watch the rest of this now.
Oh, thank you.
Have a great evening.
You too. All right, that was awesome. Having Ash on, and there. So one of the things is in that control room, I had to. Every guest has a unique URL, and so in OBS you can bring in people through, through the you can bring everyone as an web browser or a browser, and then so each individual person comes as a individual box. But you do have to set all this up in OBS as well. So yeah, let's see. Sammy's saying here that's and I got to work on these overlays. I messed something up on my overlays here. Let me fix this really quick. I wanted to make it bigger, and then I didn't realize that things were gonna mess up here a little bit. How do I fix this here? Okay, I got it. I'm gonna bring this down here. Give me a second while I fix this in real time here. Okay. That's better. Okay. Um, my testing with the MOI was able to 4K guess all things crazy. It was under 50%. Not bad, actually. Not bad at all. Yeah. Um, let's see. Robert's saying pretty interesting setup so far. Thank you. And it is a little bit if you're not wanting to tinker around too much, then this might be a little bit, too much for some people, I would say. If you're really comfortable with OBS, I think VDO Ninja is a great way to do it. There are just some quirks, and there's a lot of testing. I've done a lot of testing by myself as far as my own laptop is concerned, and which is something I'm going to do so far. And thanks, Sammy, for this. I'm going to get into other things now as well. First, let me say thanks, Ash, for being my first guest ever on here, and it was really good, an honor to have you as my first guest here. So the other thing I'm going to talk about is how you bring in live chats. And so there are John, we should play a drinking game on how many times I reference John in my live streams. But he did a video on this, on doing the overlays. And the thing that I'm using right now for these particular overlays, and I hope my mouse is not too much. I'm doing a lot of clicking around today, but I'm using a Chrome browser plugin called Live Overlay Chat. And so this is by one of my favorite YouTubers, Aaron Parecki, and he basically he and I are pretty much very alike in the sense of the things that we pursue. He's much smarter than I am for sure, though. But he created this plugin that basically takes the live chat. You take the URL of the live chat and you pop it into a window, and with the plugin, and a lot of you already know this. So here is this plugin right here. And so this is the plugin activated here. And then his latest version has this get overlay URL, and I could pop this into OBS as well as a browser source. So if I click on Sammy's chat here, it does the overlay, sends it to this URL at the top here, and you can't see my mouse here, but it's this URL right here. That's the one I brought into OBS here, and I can go ahead and clear it. So that's one really easy way to do with the chat. But there is another way to do the chat, and I'm going to bring this up here. Let's see. And I did get permission to talk about this with the developer, but because he does have this one in beta. So let's say I bring up Ash's chat here again, and now you're going to see it looks a little bit different. And so I am using a software called H2R Graphics. And some of you may know what H2R Graphics is. H2R Graphics is a software to easily do some overlays. And so uh, this will be really good for me as far as if I'm gonna do some overlays with just without OBS and just using my A10 Mini, for example. So, but yeah, that's it's kind of like so I'm gonna show it to you in a second here, but before I do that, I'm gonna just say thank you, Robert, for joining me here. Thank you always for supporting as well, and I'm gonna go ahead and just continue to show you H2R graphics here. Um, so I'm gonna bring in like Robert's, chat again in here, and so this works very similar as far as OBS is concerned. I get a URL, bring that in as a browser, um, and that'll automatically show the chat here. So let me go ahead and show you H2R graphics. And this is just the web control center actually. And I'll go into more detail of the software itself. And I didn't enable my mouse for OBS here. But here, this is kind of a rundown, and I could add graphics, add different lower thirds, and click on there, and it'll do the lower thirds. Now, this is, if you want to learn more about this, you go to H2R Graphics, h2r.graphics. And after the show, I'm going to update this kind of all the software that I'm using here. But this is by a developer named John Barker. I believe he's in Europe somewhere. Might be in Sweden. I forget. I think he's in Sweden. But actually, he's in the same kind of group with Aaron Parecki, who is in, I think, Portland. But they're all they all know each other very well. But anyway, this is a little bit more involved as far as setup is concerned, because there's a lot of different things that you have to do as far as with the chat here. Let me bring you into the chat here. This is where the chat is, and there's different. I haven't looked at the different things here, but I can bring in a list of items. I can bring in some keywords to highlight some keywords, but I could just click on that and it'll go right into the chat here. And so that's kind of cool. So it's a very web-based thing. This is my local URL up here. I have another URL for the output. So it's a really cool way to bring in chat. And if you're doing more interactive live streams here, this is one way to do it. And then of course, if you don't have something as far as OBS is concerned, or because OBS already does all these lower thirds, but if let's say you just want to do something dead simple, not worry about configuring OBS, well, you can do all these lower thirds that you want, and it even does have a countdown if you need one. There are other things that you can do. You can output it to kind of a green screen and chroma key it out. Green screen it out. I mean, I think you can do the chroma keying as well. The social is what we saw earlier. You can do scoreboards, like if you are doing a live stream of sports, you can do scoreboards of that. Bring in different images. So it's kind of there's a lot of things you can do, and there's a lot of things that I believe he's gonna start putting in there as well. So those are the two ways to bring in the chat. And I don't know if I show you the Aaron Parecki one. Oh, I did show you this one. The Aaron Parecki one is the first way I've done the chat, is bringing it that way. But yeah, that's this is probably the easiest way to get the chat in there. Now, the way I've been able to use this live chat actually with my how do I say this? With my A10 Mini only is this is my chat window here that I have, right? And sometimes I'm able to send this chat out. I can cast it out to a Chromecast that's hooked up with my A10 mini. And this is going to be another video that I'll do in the future. But this is one way to bring in the chat. The other way to bring in the chat, and I'm talking about if I'm doing A10 mini only, is if I am using H2R Graphics, I can bring in my laptop or another computer as an input into my A10 mini and kind of do an output using the green screen here. And then because the A10 mini has a really good green screen as far capability as far as filtering that out. So there's different ways to bring in the chat. So yeah, those are the two things I wanted to show you tonight. I have the live chat. I have the bringing in of guests using VDO Ninja, and as you can see, I still have my VDO Ninja thing here, live here. So that's one way to do it. And then actually, I'm gonna hang this up and close it up. But yeah, so that's one way to do it. And then yeah, that's all I wanted to say tonight concerning that. I do have a few as far as gear is concerned. I do have, actually, let me bring it out here. This is kind of a, right now I'm just kind of shooting the breeze now. I'm talking about anything. If you have any questions, let me know. So my dad, who lives in Taiwan, loves to just play around with gadgets all the time. So it's kind of funny. I think that's where I get get that love for gadgets. But it's funny, he's not the most tech savvy of all the time with things. So he's like, Patrick, I have this camera. And you know, he had a family friend be coming back actually to my area here in Philadelphia and said, I'm gonna send this camera back with him. And he sends me a picture of the camera. And I actually got the camera yesterday or this past week. And let me show it to you. It's a fun camera actually. So this is the little camera here, and you should, if those you should be familiar with what this camera is. But if Sammy is still on, Sammy should know what this camera is instantly. And this is the version 1 of this camera. But let me give Sammy a second if he is on. I'm not sure if he's on still. But yeah, this is, I'm going to give him 2 more seconds here. Anyway, if anyone knows what this camera is, I'll give you another minute to tell me what this camera is. But you could look it up probably now, but it's made by DJI. It has a nice gimbal on here. Let me change this to see if the settings will, yeah, tilt lock here. So like I can be filming here and it'll get rid of my shake, you know. There you go. That's kind of trippy, isn't it? So yeah, I was pretty familiar with this particular camera, but this is the DJI Osmo Pocket, and this was very popular a few years ago. They've come out with a version 2, and something I wish it did was do live streaming or be able to do an HDMI out, and then I could bring it into my setup here. Because one of the cool things that it does is, so I flip it back to selfie mode here. That's okay. I flipped it back to the selfie mode here. Now what it's doing right now is I'm just gonna move here, and now it's tracking my face. Isn't that trippy? And so this is really made for the vloggers going out, and it just this is a really fun camera, and I just kind of want to go out on walks with my family now to document a weekend trip or something. So I might be doing some more B-roll with this, and actually this week I already have this video coming, or I'm gonna be working on this VDO Ninja video and the chat video, basically this OBS video coming out this week. But I'm hoping in 2 weeks, hopefully before Thanksgiving, as far as the American Thanksgiving is concerned, I'm gonna put out my 2021 desk setup, and I'm gonna be using this for a lot of B-roll. So this is one thing I'm happy about is in good light, like it's kind of like a GoPro quality and a little bit different. So I don't want to make anyone mad as far as what do you mean GoPro quality? Because there's some anyway. Just started a religious war there. Seems like, but like the GGI Osmo Pocket, it's very similar in the sense that it's an action cam. It's not waterproof. I don't believe, not at least not this version, but it does have like very good quality. Give it good light. Of course, the gimbal there is very smooth. It's a physical gimbal, so I love my GoPro, but that it's all, stabilization is in, mostly software related. So, yeah. So that's one new gadget that I got. And then I did get a new gadget as far as eBay is concerned. Uh so this is my own camera right here, my old camera right here. It's my A6500, but it's kind of getting older and I always like to have a backup of everything or even get another camera as a second angle. So I've been using a GoPro, I've been using my PTZ camera over there as another, camera angle. But actually, and I'm always having to like disconnect this camera because it's my main camera for everything else, even photos. So I do have a camera coming on the way this week and it is a Sony because I do have Sony cameras, Sony lenses. I'm up to like 4 or 5 lenses now, but yeah, so I am getting another camera. Um, got it for a decent deal, not the best deal, but a decent deal. So that's what's coming up right now. And okay, now as far as I'm accidentally clicking on things here. Sorry. As far as everything else is concerned, uh, okay, so I was gonna save it, but let me tell you anyway, because I thought you left actually, Robert. But thanks you for staying on. I am getting a Sony A6400, and so I was thinking about getting the ZV-E10, which wasn't too much more and newer, but I realized uh, where I bring my cameras. I bring my cameras everywhere as far as trips are concerned. So, um, and so I wanted to get something more rugged. It does have a magnesium body, and so but I did get it for a very good price, or I think good price because it came in with a memory card and a pretty good memory card and stuff. So I do have someone here that is new to at least this live stream is Ice Ager 233. Um, and here is someone I've seen. I don't know if he's first time here on my live streams here, but Married Man Woodworking. Um, thanks for joining me in this live stream. I tend to have people come towards the end of the live streams, but that's fine. We had a lot of fun. I had my first guest today, which was Ash. So we were trying VDO Ninja, and yeah, so a video will be coming out on everything I talked about today. I will be using some of the clips that I did with Ash earlier today, earlier in the stream, in the video coming up this week. And yeah, as far as other things are concerned, let's see. As I mentioned with Ash, I am getting close to 600 subscribers. I'm at 597, and I'm just kind of blown away that my goal was to get 300 subscribers by the end of this calendar year, and I should be now I'm setting goals to try to get monetized by the end of next year. Isn't that crazy? I never either I never thought I would be, or that was going to be my 3 or 4 year plan, because I do this on the side, And yeah, um, but it is because of all of you who have been keeping me going. Uh, just like Robert here, just like Ash, and and people just kept popping on, like Married Man Woodworking here. Just thank you for everyone joining the stream today. I am going to be wrapping up here in a minute. The other big thing is that, and Sammy, I don't know if you saw it earlier. Um, but I don't know. I think you would have guessed this camera. This is the new toy that I got from my dad, actually, the DJI Osmo Pocket. So, um, anyway, I just saw Sammy pop up there. So, yeah. The other big thing, let me just talk about. I normally don't talk about like personal stuff, but I am a web developer by trade, and I work for the local university here. And starting this week, I'm actually going back into the office. So I've been working from home. Uh, it won't cut into my YouTube here, but I'm actually excited to go back to the office, and with all the things going on. Um, yeah, I won't get into vaccination stuff, but I do believe in them, and so with vaccinations more happening, then I'm getting more comfortable being in settings like that, and so yeah, and that's my personal belief there, but yeah, that things are starting to open up in that sense, so I'll be in the office maybe 3 times a week, and so yeah, so other things are going on. It's been a busy month, busy couple months due to some personal things. Nothing bad, but just making me busy. So yeah. But anyway, I am going to wrap up here. Thanks everyone for joining me here, and I would say thank, and we'll see you later. See ya.